Hello everybody, this is your Tiny Coder back again with another Scratch session. This session is a continuation of my previous session, which was about some blocks using Scratch. Now, this video, I will explain some more blocks that you can use using Scratch. So let's see those blocks. So today, I will explain you guys the main blocks using Scratch, which are just a few of them. And I've divided those blocks into 3 tutorials: the pen tutorial, broadcast tutorial, and the conditional checks. So first, let's check out the pen tutorial. So first, you can see that there's a cat, and the cat drew a pentagon, and now the cat will also draw a star inside. So that is the pen tutorial. Now I will show you guys the broadcast tutorial. So in the broadcast tutorial, first you can see that there's a cat and a dog. So when I click on the cat responds meow, and the dog replies back bow wow if I do it again. And that is what happens. And the important thing about this is that the dog only responds bow wow when the cat says meow, or else the dog will not respond back bow wow. Then let's see the conditional checks. So now if I click on the right arrow key, first you can see that the cat faces right and the cat runs, and also once the cat hits the edge, the cat will not move. And if I click on the left arrow, the cat will face left and run left, and if the cat hits the edge of the left hand side, then the cat will not move. And now if I press the space key, the cat will jump. And that is the conditional checks. So we're going to make all of these tutorials in Scratch today. So first, let's see the pen tutorial. So over here, when I receive the start pen tutorial, first I have to, of course, just show the cat. So I will bring in the show. And also the cat has to face the right direction. So I will go to motion and I'll say point in direction 90. And if you click on 90, then you can see that there's also an arrow which basically represents the angle of what you want your sprite to be. So this is going to be the left one, but we will keep it right for now. And then we will go to a specific position because we want to have a starting position. And the starting position will be minus 150 and 30. Now, in the control, let's get a for loop, which makes the pentagon. So first, I will go to here, and you can see that over here, there's the pentagon, and this is the first coordinate that I start off in, and then the second coordinate is 0 and 125. So you can kind of see that, which is over here. So we will have a go-to in the motion saying go to 0 for the X and 125 for the Y. And since we want to see it happen, we will wait for 1 second. And now let's go and duplicate this, so then we can make multiple ones which just go through all of them. Now let's go and see the next coordinate. So it's from here to here, which is 150, and the Y is 30. So we will go to 150x and 30 for the Y. Then again, we will duplicate this and we will come back here. So we're going from here to here. So the X is 100 and the Y is minus 120. Again, this is 100 and minus 120. And we have to create the whole pentagon. So we'll go from here to here, which is minus 100 to minus 120. So if I duplicate that, it's minus 100 this time. And finally, we have to get back to the starting position that we had. So that is minus 150 and 30. So I'll duplicate it again. And it is minus 150 and 30. Now, since we also have to make the star, we will do the glides. But first, let's run the program. So if I run it and click on pen tutorial, the cat actually does draw a pentagon, but you cannot see it because we're not using the pen. So for that, we have to go to the pen. Now pen is not a ready-made extension in Scratch, so we have to go in add extension and we have to click on pen. Now I already have it, so I don't have to do it. So if I just go back up, before the forever, I'll just say erase all, because the reason why is because when we have a pen and then we do the program again, you will see the pen from the last program. So that's why we're doing erase all, so we can have a brand new pen. And then we'll have a pen down. And since we will just go and run my program. So first, you can see that the cat creates the pentagon and it continuously does it. Now, we want some kind of thickness for the pen, so we'll say set pen size and let's say as 10. And then we will set our pen color, which will be set to red, let's say. So this is red. Now if I run my program and click on pen tutorial, you can see that the cat now draws a pentagon and continuously draws it again and again. Now since we have to also go and make the star, we need a glide for that. So in the motion, I'll go here and I'll say glide 1 second to then the X and Y positions. For that, in here it will be from here to here, so it's 150 and 30. So let's set it to 150 and Y to 30. Then again, let's just duplicate this. Let's check back over here. It's from here to here, so it's minus 100 and minus 120. So minus 100 and minus 120. Again, we have to duplicate it because we want to make the whole star. So for that, if I just go and get back, it's from here to here, which is 0 and 125. So the X positions will be set to 0 and 125. And over here, we have minus 100. And if I go and duplicate this again, we will have to change this to 100 and minus 120 because we want to go from here to here. So let's keep it 100 and minus 120. Now let's, again, our last one, let's duplicate the block because we can't just stay there, we also have to get back. So which is minus 150 and the Y is 30. So this is 30. And now let's run the program. Pen tutorial. So first the cat will draw the pentagon. Then after that the cat will glide and it will also draw a star. And it will continuously do this. And now this looks pretty monotonous, so let's kind of change the color. So over here, first what we will do is that I will go in control and have a forever, and then I'll go to pen, and then I'll do the change pen color by, and then the specified amount. So for instance, let's keep 1. Now since we want the cat to walk, let's do next costume. I'll bring this up. Now if I run this in the pen tutorial, the cat will draw the pentagon in different colors, and also the cat will run and create the pen. So we're done with our first tutorial. Now let's go on the second tutorial, which is the broadcast tutorial. So for this, first what we have to do is that if I just go and scroll down in the when this sprite clicked. So first let's go and play the sound until it is done. And now if I run this, I'll go to broadcast tutorial. And the cat said meow. Now we also want the cat to say meow, so let's go in the looks and say, let's say we'll say meow, and we'll keep it for half a second. Now if I run this, again the cat says meow. And then after this we have to go and broadcast the meow, and then we have to go and wait until we receive it. So let's do new message and say meow. So now we are broadcasting this message. And first of all, we have to know what is a broadcast. So a broadcasting is basically like how we can send messages between two sprites or two characters in our game or an animation. So in here it says when I receive meow, we also have to receive the meow. So for that, first we have to know if the dog knows, because the dog should know when the cat said meow. So that's why we're using the broadcast. And as you can see, the cat will only say meow and the dog will only reply if the cat said meow, or else the dog will not reply at all. And this is the way two sprites are talking to each other, that way. So now let's make the code for the dog's meow. So first in the looks, we just have to go and say the bow wow for half a second. So bow wow for half a second. Then we have to just play the sound of the dog until it's done. Now if I run this, in the broadcast tutorial, if I click on the cat will say meow, and then only the dog replies back. I'll do it again. And it replied again. So that now the dog knows when to bark because the cat said meow. And this is how the broadcasting works. Now let's go on to our third tutorial, which is the conditional checks. So let's get back to the cat for that. So over here, let's say when I receive conditional checks, first I'll have to go to a specific position. So I'll say go to, and I'll say 0 and, oh, sorry. I have to go and say 0 and minus 100. Then I'll go and show the character. So in here, there is this. Then, now since I used the pen for the first tutorial, I have to go and erase it, but we'll do that later. So in the forever, we'll have an if, and so first I'll drag it here, and I'll say if the left arrow is pressed, so right here, the left arrow, if it is pressed, then I will point in the direction of the left, which is going to be minus 90. And then I will move 10 steps after that. And since we want the cat to run, we will do next costume. So that is for the left. Now we will similarly do that for the right. So I'll just duplicate it. And I will set this to 90. And so first we have to know what the costumes are. So in the costumes you can see that there's the cat, then if I go to the next one and then the next one, so you can see that the cat's images are just the same thing, and the next costume basically just picks the next image. So now you can get the walking effect from that. So that is the next costume. So now if I run my program, in the broadcast, not the broadcast one, in the conditional checks. So you can first see that if I press the left arrow first, it does not really move. And for this, we have to set it to the right. So first, when the cat moves right, you can see that there's two errors. First of all, the cat goes through the boundary, and also the cat follows the pen with it. That's why we have to go and keep in the erase all before that. And we also have to keep the pen up. So, and you do not have to exactly do this because like this is not really a pen program, but since I do have a pen tutorial in here, I have to do it because I use the pen for this project. But if you are not really using any pen, then you don't have to worry about doing the erase all or the pen up. So now in the conditional checks, you don't see any pen, which is good. But again, it goes through the boundaries. So now we have to have another if condition inside. So if I get an if else, for that I won't need it. So I'll just have an if condition, and I will just go into operators and check if the x position is greater than minus 200, which is the boundary. So this is minus 200. We have to check if it is greater than, which means that if it is somewhere here, not outside. So that's minus 200. And similarly, we have to have that for the right arrow. So I will keep it over here. And in the operators, this time we'll have a lesser than. And again, I'll go back to motion and take in the x position and check if it is greater than or lesser than 200. So now if I just run my conditional checks, you can see that the cat does not cross the boundary for the right and left side. And over here, when I reach here, I'm still pressing my right arrow key, but still the cat does not move. If I go to the left side, I'm hitting the edge and I'm pressing the left arrow key, still it does not work. So that works. Now we have to go and do our space for the jumping. So I'll have an if condition over here, and I will check if the key space is pressed. And then I have to go and take in an if else. And I will keep it in here saying that if the y position, and we're going to check if it is lesser than, so if the y position is lesser than minus 100, which is basically the ground, then we will go and set the y to minus 100. So we will set the y to minus 100. Or else we will just change the y by minus 2. So change y by minus 2. Now in the conditional checks, you can see, and right now nothing really happens because since we are already on the minus 100, and first we have to set it to minus 100. Now if I go and run it, you can see that right now it is shaking, so it does not really work. That's why. Or else the value is 20. So you can see that the cat just goes up, but it does not go back down. So we will just go and keep it over there. So for that, first we have to make a variable of falling speed. So we'll make a variable, let's say falling speed. And initially we will set it to 0. And even if we're doing this, we're just going to set our falling speed to 0. And here we have to change the falling speed by -2, so then it can go down. And we will keep the change y by falling speed. Now if I go and run it, you can see that the cat, it really just shakes. It does not really go up. And that is because we don't have cat going up by y value. So for that, first we have to keep this out. And we also, in the key space pressed, we have to set our falling speed to 20 because we want it to go up, and then we will change our y by the falling speed. So over here is a change y by, and I will keep in falling speed. So now in the conditional checks, you can see that it's shaking. It does go up, it does go down, but it's shaking. The reason why is because 100 is the exact line position. So that's why we need to keep it a little bit less, because we're checking if it goes below that. So I'll keep in -99. Now in the conditional check, the jumping will be perfect. The cat won't be shaking, and you can also jump with it. In this tutorial, we learned about the conditions and variables using the if conditions, and you can use this jumping in games when you are making some kind of games. And we also learned about broadcasting and how broadcasts work, and of course we also learned about the pen extension. In next tutorial, we will make some kind of a game. And that wraps up this whole video. So I hope you guys liked it. Please subscribe on my channel. That will motivate me to make more videos. Till then, see you later.